ever had a neighbor so controlling. She thought she owned the whole street. Mine told my friends I didn't belong here, so I made sure she'll never decide who belongs anywhere again. Next thing she knew, half the block had my name on it. I swear, when I first bought that lake cabin, I thought I'd found heaven. Pine trees whisper in the wind, loons calling at dusk, the water so calm it looked like glass. It was supposed to be my weekend getaway. No noise, no stress, no drama. Then came Karen. You ever meet someone who acts like God handed him the deed to earth? That was her. Blonde bob, big sunglasses, floor blouse, clipboard like a weapon. She strutted over one morning while I was unloading tools and hit me with, "You'll need to file a form for that." Lady, I was fixing a loose porch step. But that's how it started. The peeking, the complaints, the fake HOA rules. At first, I brushed it off. Then one weekend, my old Army buddies dropped by. Good guys, hard workers, real patriots. We grilled, shared beers, swapped old war stories by the fire. Nothing wild. But Karen? She stormed out like I'd set up a rock concert. "They don't look like they belong here," she snapped. Didn't belong? These men fought for her right to say stupid stuff like that. Next morning, boom, bright yellow violation notice, slapped on my door. Unauthorized guests. Security risk. That's when something in me snapped. She wasn't protecting the neighborhood. She was guarding her imaginary kingdom. And I decided right then it was time to quietly take her crown. Here's the thing. People like her crave control. They think power is about who talks the loudest. But me? I build my wins with paperwork and patience. See, I'd been in cabin renovation for decades. I knew who was selling, who was struggling, and who wanted out. Turns out, 3 cabins near Karen's were sitting unsold, rotting under her endless complaints. Perfect. So I called up an old realtor buddy. Within weeks, I bought all 3 through my company. Quietly. No fanfare, no gossip. Just signatures and a smirk. 2 months later, Karen nearly lost her mind when trucks rolled in with my company's logo plastered on the side. She sprinted over like a mall cop on caffeine. "You can't build here," she yelled. "Oh, I can," I said, smiling. "They're mine." You could see her short circuit. Her whole face froze like she just bit into a lemon. From that day, the HOA flipped faster than a pancake. Suddenly, I wasn't that guy with unauthorized guests. I was Mr. Daniel, owner of half the damn lakeside. Now every hammer strike echoed her downfall. Every new dock, every fresh coat of paint was my quiet revenge. The cabins turned into rentals. Families, veterans, weekend fishers, all welcome. And Karen? She had to watch, powerless, as her kingdom filled with people she once said didn't belong. And that's the funny thing about control. You don't need to fight for it. You just have to own it. Man, the piece that followed? It wasn't loud, it was poetic. Every weekend, new faces rolled up with fishing poles and coolers, smiling wide, waving as they passed her porch. You could almost feel her blood pressure spike with each cheerful good morning that came her way. She tried to fight back with every ounce of that fake authority. Calling the HOA, filing noise complaints, claiming my guests were ruining the view. But this time, the board didn't listen. They couldn't. I had the votes, the ownership, the respect. I wasn't some outsider anymore. I was the neighborhood. The look on her face the day the HOA president called me, our key property investor, was priceless. She just stood there, arms crossed, jaw locked, staring like her world had tilted upside down. And it had, because the very man she tried to push out now held the power she'd worshipped for years. I didn't gloat, didn't need to. My revenge wasn't a war. It was a calm lake reflection showing her everything she'd done wrong. The sawdust smell from new docks, the sound of kids laughing near the water, the flicker of fire pits under the stars, it all became part of something bigger than her bitterness. Then one morning, a for sale sign popped up in her yard. Just like that. No goodbye, no fake smile, nothing. 2 months later, a young couple moved in, easygoing, kind folks. They brought cookies to introduce themselves. "We heard you're the one who made this place feel alive again," they said. I laughed. Nah, I told them. I just reminded it who really belongs here. That night, as the sun dipped behind the pines, I sat on my porch with a cold beer, watching the lake shimmer gold. No yelling, no drama, no HOA threats. Just peace. The kind of peace that tastes better than any victory speech. Because the truth is, sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's building a world where you never have to hear them again. Click confirm if you've ever dealt with a Karen like that. 'Cause trust me, owning your peace, that's the real power move. You know, it's wild how silence can feel so different once the noise is gone. Back then, every time I heard a knock, I braced myself for her voice, her clipboard, her rules. Now, the only sound that breaks the quiet is the soft ripple of water against the dock and the laughter of families who finally feel welcome here. It's strange. Revenge isn't supposed to heal you, right? But this one did. Not because I hurt her, but because I built something bigger than her. Every light glowing in those cabins now is a reminder that belonging doesn't come from permission. It comes from presence, from being real, from standing your ground without shouting. Sometimes at sunset, I catch myself looking over at where her old cabin used to feel like a wall between me and the world. Now it's full of life. A young couple chasing their golden retriever across the yard, music floating through the trees, kids roasting marshmallows by the fire pit. It's what this place was always meant to be, warm, open, alive. And me? I finally get to breathe. I sit back on my porch, watch the sky burn orange and pink, and realize I didn't just buy property. I earned peace. The kind of peace you can't measure in dollars, only in quiet moments and steady heartbeats. Sometimes I think about Karen. Maybe she found another neighborhood, another group to boss around. But here, her shadow's gone. This lake, this street, it's free again. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. You don't need to fight every battle. Just build your life so strong, so undeniable, that no one can question your place in it. So yeah, when people say, "Daniel, you got your revenge," I just smile and shake my head. It wasn't revenge. It was redemption. These days, when I pull up to the cabin, there's a different kind of stillness in the air. Not the uneasy silence that used to hang heavy when Karen lurked behind her curtains, but a calm that feels earned. You know, that kind of peace where you just sit back, breathe deep, and think, yeah, I built this. The water still mirrors the sky. The kids still laugh by the dock, and those cabins, man, they glow at night like little lanterns of belonging. Sometimes I'll see new families roll in, setting up a grill, music drifting softly through the pines. They wave, smile, and call out, "Hey, Mr. Daniel." And it hits me, that's the legacy right there. Because what started as a battle against control turned into something bigger. I didn't just win against a Karen. I built a place where people feel at home. A place where nobody has to prove they belong. That's not revenge. That's restoration. And maybe that's the real twist of it all. She tried to guard this neighborhood with fear and rules. I ended up guarding it with kindness and ownership. She left behind a void. I filled it with laughter, trust, and second chances. Every now and then, when the sunset spills across the lake and paints everything gold, I raise a glass to that quiet victory. Not to rub it in, but to remember what it taught me. You can't silence kindness with control. You can't gatekeep peace. So yeah, the story started with one neighbor trying to decide who belonged. But it ends right here, with everyone welcome, the lake alive, and me finally at peace with knowing sometimes the best way to win is to build something they can never take away. And if you've ever had to fight for your place in this world, remember, you don't just belong here. You own your space in it. It's funny. When I look back now, it wasn't about the property lines or HOA rules. It was about something deeper, something we all crave. Belonging. Feeling like we matter somewhere, like our presence doesn't need approval. Karen never understood that. To her, belonging meant control. Deciding who's worthy, who fits her picture-perfect box. But real belonging? It's freedom. It's laughter echoing off the lake. Strangers turning into friends, and people feeling safe just being themselves. That's what I fought for without even realizing it. Not revenge. Not ego. Respect. For myself, for my friends, for anyone who's ever been told they didn't belong. Because once you felt that sting of someone trying to shrink your worth, you never forget it. It burns something into you, a quiet promise to never let it happen again. Now, every nail I hammered, every cabin I rebuilt, it wasn't just construction. It was healing. Brick by brick, board by board, I was fixing something bigger than walls. I was rebuilding what she tried to take, the right to feel at home. And that's the message I want to leave you with. If someone ever tells you that you don't belong somewhere, don't argue. Don't fight their noise. Just build your own place so strong, so undeniable, that they have no choice but to see your worth shining right in front of them. Because at the end of the day, the sweetest sound in the world isn't winning an argument. It's the silence of peace after you've earned it. So yeah, I didn't just own half the street. I own my story. And that's something no one can take away.